Okay. Now, please tell me your brief time horizon in the market and for how many of you have been investing. We'll keep trading aside. I hope my voice is audible.
Yeah, it is.
We'll keep charts and trading aside and give me a quick brief of your time in the market and have you able to catch any investment on your own, and if yes, why? Anything. If
Well,
anybody
start.
wants,
Yeah.
yeah, please.
My investment horizon is just for the last 9 months, 6 to 9 months, 8, 9 months only. And
Okay.
I'm part of the Techno Funda group. Obviously, it all started with getting into Diamond membership, finishing that up, and
Then,
finished by.
sir, I'm not looking for your introduction. I'm just saying, yeah, have you tried to get into any investment of any sort? If yes, why? If no, no problem.
So
We
I
are
got into
and
Zen Technologies. Yes, hello.
बोलिए.
So Zentech, I studied the business and
Hmm.
studying that and their entire profile and getting into some newer domains, plus the management guidance of 20 to 25% growth. That prompted me to get into the business. The business fell by almost 25-30% after that, but somehow I stayed in the business and now it is almost 70-80% up from where I invested. So that was one. The only odd point about the business was that it was all what they said. It was not backed by order book. So that was one flip side, but still I went into, and that was a better
Sir,
investment.
my review is you're scattered. You are having bits and pieces of information. I don't think so. You're able to make good concluding sense out of that. So we'll get to that. Anybody else wants to say anything about any investment they did?
Yeah, I started my journey during the COVID times. So I started studying about the various things. Then, of my own, I invested in one company that is a Captain Point Laboratories.
Okay.
So why I invested into that company was after reading the reports and all. This is the only company probably which has got the API, so which is an
Okay.
active pharmaceutical ingredient. So
Okay.
what is happening with the Indian pharmaceutical companies? Most of the APIs are being imported from the China.
Yes.
Any medicine which is being produced, if you don't have the API, that pharmaceutical company has to shut down, or then it has to buy it from a different market, which will be at a very, very higher cost. So this is
Right.
the only company which has got the own API, and then geographical distribution. It is more into Latin America, US, and the African markets. So
Right.
that is where it has got a more broader, you can say, outreach. And then it is into the regulated markets also, like Canada, Australia, China. So what happens is with the other companies like the Cipla and the Dr. Reddy's laboratories, so anything from the US market, they say the FDA says this product is not good, certainly the prices go down. So, but since this company is into those regulated markets, so that means there are norms which are more and more stringent. So that is what I've picked of my own, and I have a revenue generation of more than 100% in this company.
Wow, sir. Excellent. Excellent. Anybody else has to say anything? सुनीता मैम, आपका कोई ऐसा एग्जांपल है आपको शेयर करना है?
नहीं, मैंने खुद होके ऐसा खुद पूरा स्टार्ट टू एंड ऐसा मैंने अभी तक कोई लिया नहीं है।
चलो कोई बात नहीं, let's
हाँ, वो
get
पता
it.
चलने के बाद में फिर चेक किया कि हाँ ऐसा ठीक है भाई, ठीक है, फिर
Let's
इसलिए
चलो let's get
न्यूज़
get
देख
on to some work. Let's get on to some
हाँ
work. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
यस सर।
So I have a blank page on my screen, and friends, this is an interactive session. So we'll keep talking during the session. Once again, we'll keep talking during the session, and the more we interact, the better we understand.
यस सर।
Basically, there are 5 types of businesses. Now, I want to talk about businesses. I'm not talking about API or I'm not talking about anything else. I'm just talking about 5 different types of businesses and how we should structure our portfolio or investable surplus we have to into these 5 different buckets. So the very first bucket, which I'll give you the textual material also to read, is called a fast grower. Now, what is a fast grower and what do you mean by fast growers? उसकी definition और जो भी चीजें हम देखेंगे. Please spare me for my spellings. My spellings can be bad. And if the font is visible, please let me know if the font is visible or do I need to increase the size of the font.
Fine.
Then the next bucket is called a slow grower. Sorry. Now this can come into pharma companies, this can come into IT companies, manufacturing companies, any type of companies. The third bucket is called cyclicals. Right? The fourth bucket is called asset plays. And the fifth and the last bucket is called turnarounds. Now, all your investing and all your stock market journey or wealth creation journey will revolve around these 5 buckets. See, we are not any economist and we don't have any idea of economic data as such. But mota, if I can say, my GDP grows at the rate of 6 to 8%. Now, some years it can be more than that, some years it can be lesser than that. But India actually is growing at the rate of 6 to 8%. Tomorrow it might go at 10%, grow at 10%. I don't know. 6 to 8% is my crude barometer for my GDP. Right? So any company which is growing, now here growth, I mean two things, growth in sales and the growth in PAT. I'm not talking about EBITDA, operating margin, PBT, gross margin, nothing. The growth in sales, I'll just write over here. I'll give you this PDF once the session is done. So don't worry for that. Sales and PAT. Okay. So here, let's change color. Color कहाँ गया? Okay. So here, if I sorry, change color here. So a slow grower is a company which is growing at the rate 10% to 8 to 12%. मतलब मेरा ईयर ओवर ईयर आपको आई होप आपको सब कैलकुलेट करना आता है कि ईयर ओवर ईयर मेरा सेल्स ग्रोथ कितना है. मैं क्वार्टरली नंबर्स की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मैं ईयरली नंबर्स की बात कर रहा हूँ. For example, I can just go on to Screener and open up any company over here, like Reliance Industries. तो स्क्रीनर में जाके जब मैं यहाँ टॉगल करूंगा तो मुझे ये ग्रोथ नंबर आ जाएगा. 11% sales growth, 28% sales growth, 45% sales growth, 4%, then negative, then higher, then none. So what I'm looking here is I'm looking at the sales growth for the last 5 years, which is 10%. So this suits my bucket of a slow grower. Similarly, we can calculate this for the PAT also. PAT का आपको ये year over year growth ये नहीं देगा. अगर आपने batch 4 basics किया है, you can download the Excel sheet and do the same thing. So clear till here? What is a slow grower?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, a fast grower is something where we have 17-18% to 24-25%. आपको ये समझ आ गया तो मोटा मोटा आपको ये भी समझ आ जाएगा कि ऐसी कंपनी जहां पर मेरा जो टॉप लाइन ग्रोथ है या बॉटम लाइन ग्रोथ है वाज ग्रोइंग वेरी फास्ट. तो इफ आई अभी तो ये नंबर्स कम हो गए बिकॉज इफ आई कैलकुलेट से फ्रॉम 2014 till 2018 you will see a CAGR growth of very good run rate because यहाँ पर 50, 13, 35, 29. If I even average out these 4 numbers, so my top line number is CAGR is more than 17 to 20%. And similarly for the PAT over here. ठीक है? A cyclical is something which where what will happen, your numbers, your profits will go up and down. One second, please. हाँ 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 जी सर. कितने पड़ेगा इसकी पर? सिक्लिकल्स में आपका क्या होगा कि सिक्लिकल्स में आपका सेल्स ऑपरेटिंग मार्जिन दे विल गो लाइक दिस अप डाउन अप डाउन अप डाउन ट्रेंड में रहेगा. तो आइडिया ऑफ अ सिक्लिकल इज व्हेन द numbers are going up, this is the time when your stock price will start performing, and when the numbers are going down, this is the time when your stock price will start lagging. एसेट प्ले के अंदर आपका क्या होगा कि आपके पास एक बिजनेस में एक प्रॉपर्टी होगी, एक एसेट होगा, एक लैंड होगा, जिसका की वैल्यू आपके मार्केट कैप से बहुत ज्यादा होगा. दिस वुड बी ग्रेटर देन एन कैप. And turnarounds here is your loss to profit companies. Suddenly your loss making company suddenly starts making profits, and suddenly the stock price goes mad. So these are basically the 5 buckets of any investment you do, any thing you go and study, any business, small cap, mid cap, large cap, any cap, everything will be in this bucket. Now cyclical एसेट प्लेस और टर्न अराउंड के अगर आप बोलो तो मैं आपको एग्जांपल दूं, नहीं तो आई थिंक सो ये सब चीजों से आपको पिक्चोरियल रिप्रेजेंटेशन से मोटा मोटा समझ आ गया होगा कि हम क्या बात करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. इफ यू वांट एग्जांपल्स आई कैन गिव यू एग्जांपल्स.
सिर्फ एसेट प्ले का सर एग्जांपल अगर बताओ.
एसेट प्ले का एग्जांपल ये है, एक कंपनी है हेमिस्फेयर प्रॉपर्टी. नाउ यू सी ओवर हियर द सेल्स इज 0. ठीक है, सेल 0 है तो प्रॉफिट तो माइनस आना ही आना है, कुछ खर्चे तो होते ही हैं, राइट. बट सी ओवर हियर it says I have got an asset of 947 crores. Now this 947 crores is basically other fixed assets other than land. यहाँ पर ये कहानी क्या है कि इस कंपनी का स्टोरी था कि इंडियन गवर्नमेंट हैड डन एन एग्रीमेंट विद रतन टाटा. बीएसएनएल आपको याद है सन 2000 में 2002 में जब डायल अप इंटरनेट चलता था, वी यूज्ड टू डायल टू बीएसएनएल एंड वो कुछ आवाजें निकल के हमारा नेट कनेक्ट होता था. And it used to run very slow. बहुत धीरे धीरे 14.4 kbps की स्पीड पर नेट चलता था. So what BSNL had done, BSNL had done a contract with the government of 1550 acres of land, which was by that time was very small amount of crores or lakhs on the books. So what happened, this contract got over and Tata को वो पूरा लैंड डेवलप करना था. So they were not able to develop the land. 500-700 एकड़ जमीन रह गई. तो वो 500-700 एकड़ जमीन उनको गवर्नमेंट को वापस करनी पड़ी at which became this company, Hemisphere Properties. And to transfer this 500-700 acres of land जो पूना में, कलकत्ता में सब जगह है, तो गवर्नमेंट had to put in 700 crores just for the registry charges. अब जिस जमीन की कॉस्ट इज अराउंड 700 crores for the stamp duty and registry charges, अगर मैं 6%, 7% या 5% कुछ भी रजिस्ट्री अमाउंट पकड़ लेता हूँ जिसमें हमारे स्टैंप लगते हैं, कुछ भी प्रॉपर्टी की रजिस्ट्री कराते हैं, तो यू कैन वेरी वेल अंडरस्टैंड दैट द प्रॉपर्टी वैल्यू इज शुड बी नॉट लेस देन 8-10,000 crores. अभी हो क्या रहा है यहाँ पर कि जो 8-10,000 crores की मेरी मार्केट वैल्यू वो प्रॉपर्टी की, यहाँ पर मेरे बुक्स में वो केवल 900 crores की आ रही है. बिकॉज फिक्स एसेट्स एक ऐसी चीज होती है जो ना लैंड एक ऐसी चीज होती है जो ना अप्रिशिएट होता है ना डिप्रिशिएट होता है. लैंड इज ऑलवेज ऑन द बुक वैल्यू. So this is the book value. Now this company, which is 5,000 crores today, at one point of time was available at 1,600 crores. So I am talking to you about a land, an asset, which was valued at 10,000 crores, but the market cap of the company was 1,600 crores. ठीक है, एसेट प्ले ये हो गया. सिक्लिकल का अगर आप एग्जांपल लोगे तो आप एचईजी, ग्रेफाइट, ये जो कंपनीज जिनको आप स्टॉक प्राइस देख के खुश हो जाते हो. नो सिक्लिकल्स का लुक एट द ट्रेंड ऑफ द ऑपरेटिंग मार्जिन. आपको पता ही नहीं है कि अगला ऑपरेटिंग मार्जिन क्या आएगा. इट गोज डाउन टू 9, इट गोज अप टू 71, देन गोज टू नेगेटिव, देन टू 24. क्या मार्जिन आने वाला आपको पता नहीं है. बेसिकली सिक्लिकल जो है वो आपका रॉ मटेरियल कॉस्ट की वजह से आगे पीछे डांस करता रहेगा. And to know the raw material cost, you can just go and look at the gross margins. If I try and look at the gross margins, see the fluctuations in the gross margins. Because my sales minus my material cost, which is directly related to the product which I am selling, the remainder will be gross margins. 80%, 20%, 30%. तो मेरा कमोडिटी का प्राइस आगे पीछे हो रहा है, विच आई एम नॉट एबल टू प्रोटेक्ट, इज अ सिक्लिकल. अब आप स्टील ले लो, सीमेंट ले लो, कोई भी हैवी कमोडिटी ले लो जहां पर प्रोडक्ट डिफरेंशिएशन इतना ज्यादा नहीं होता. ब्रांडिंग हो सकती है कि ये टाटा का स्टील है या जिंदल का स्टील है या सेल का है या अल्ट्राटेक का सीमेंट है या अडानी का सीमेंट है, एक उसके बैग पे या उसके ऊपर ब्रांडिंग हो सकती है, बट प्रोडक्ट डिफरेंशिएशन इतना ज्यादा नहीं होता. और बल्क की कमोडिटी को ट्रांसपोर्ट करने में हमारे को बहुत खर्चा लगता है, ट्रेलर लगता है, ट्रेन से जाती है. And whenever you want to know that my end product is a cyclical or is a commoditized product, then you have to ask yourself a question: if price is the single most important determining factor for my buyer's decision, I am dealing with the commoditized product, right? Loss to profit companies, if I can give you one example, a good example is Timex. People used to think Timex is a brand of Tata, but no, Timex is not a brand of Tata. See, this company was making, excuse me, this company was making losses. Suddenly, out of losses, what happened? Straight away from 3 crores, the profit went to 47 crores. And there is no component of other income over here. So this 47 crores totally came down from the business. My 3% PAT, my negative 3% PAT, 1% PAT straight away went up to 10%. What will happen in such a scenario? You will see that in such a scenario, you will see these kind of moves happening. Now, I am not here for 10%, 20% techno funda breakout. That is all bullshit, right? So these are your 5 buckets. Good to go with these 5 buckets?
Yeah.
Yes.
Understood till here, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Now I am a retailer, I am working, or I am in a job, in a professional job, or I am doing some kind of work. I just have 100 rupees in my pocket as my investable surplus. What percentage of your 100 rupees you should be putting in different buckets is the very basic thing you need to articulate for your own self, right? So in the cyclicals bucket, now these things can change depending upon the scenario of the market, depending upon the scenario of the businesses. So I'm just giving you a crude estimate where this can be a crude starting point. Then we can change depending upon our understanding of the business, depending on the market scenarios. I can allocate say 5% to 15% anywhere between this range in the cyclical bucket of my portfolio. This can go down to 5, this can come up to 15. See, when I give you the numbers, not necessarily the numbers would match because it is a variable number, right? In for asset plays, I just want to be 5% or less. In the turnarounds, I just want to be 5 to 7.5% or less. In the fast grower, I want to be 60 to 70%, which is the dead sure element. And बाकी के जो मेरा 4 है, and the remainder is say 10% to 15% I can be here. Now all these numbers are variable numbers. If you keep adding on these numbers, they might be less than 100, they might be more than 100. And at some times I can have cash also, say 5%, 10% cash to take the benefit of upcoming opportunities. So this is the mental flux which an investor keeps going through, changing the allocations to these things. The best way to recognize or identify a cyclical, you will see up down margins. Asset plays, you would have a big asset which you will only know looking at the theory, the reports, not looking at the balance sheet. Loss to profit companies, the company might be doing something, they got a technology from a bigger company, from a bigger partner, so they come out from the losses and start making profits. A slow grower is a grower which is growing at approximately the GDP rate, and a fast grower is a grower which is growing more than 2.5% of the GDP rate, 2.5 times of the GDP rate. But now here is a problem. What is the problem? If my fast grower is growing at 2x the GDP rate in India, there is a problem. My base becomes so big that these companies are not more able to survive more than 5 to 7 years. 5 to 7 years at max. हाँ ठीक है, वो differences हैं, कुछ ऐसे cases हैं which have stood out and they have grown probably at 100% for multiple years. That is gone past, and those names are well discovered. If you see Infosys had grown from 1992 till 2000 at a rate of 100% CAGR every year, which was something very astronomical. Markets were very lean that time. People are smart today. There is technology. It was not a technology-driven market at that time. It was physical dealing, and the company did perform well. And then it got busted in .com bubble. Okay. So example which we were talking about was Avanti Feeds over here. Now look at the trend and just try, don't focus too much on the number crunching. Just try to have a sense in this bucket which I have tried and highlighted. What do you think? This period from 2013 till 2018 is a fast growing, slow growing asset play? What do you think it is?
Is it fast?
Take your time. No need to rush.
Very fast growing. Between 5 times of sales in 5 years.
And now you see the next period from year till year. Is this a fast growing period or a slow growing period?
It's a slow grower.
Growing? Are you sure it is growing?
No growth.
Nothing has happened to the PAT. The PAT was 386 crores. And the PAT is almost the same. See, people change. We are born young, we become a teenager, we become an adult, then we become old, and then we don't become a tree. Then there is the end of a life, mature company. So the next concept, what we need to understand is, give me 1 second, I'll show you one image. यहाँ तक आई थिंक आप लोगों को आइडिया लग गया होगा कि क्या करना चाह रहे हैं हम. Give me 1 second, I'm just finding that image. हाँ. अरे यार वो स्क्रीनशॉट लेने नहीं देगा. एक सेकंड. कहाँ गया? ओके. चलो, I'll show you the screen only. Just don't look at. अरे यार, 1 second please, 1 second. Lot of security, huh? Okay, got it. Just try and look at the screen. Can you see an image on my screen? The very first stage, it is a startup where probably there are some attributes which we'll discuss later on. Then it becomes a hyper growth company. Then it becomes a self-funding company where you start making profits and you're not making losses and you don't need money from debt or issuing shares. Then you start making profits very fast. then is the time when you start to give returns to your shareholders. And in the end, what happens? You become a declining company, right? So if I see this, is this a mature declining company or what at this point of time? Since the last 4 years, nothing has happened. Sales have gone up, but nothing has happened.
फिर पैसा कहाँ गया?
पैसा कहाँ सर किसी की तरफ से बहुत डिस्टर्बेंस आ रहा है, पता नहीं बोल रहा। पैसा कहाँ गया वो क्राइटेरिया आपका नहीं होना चाहिए। आपका होना चाहिए कि मुझको ये अभी समझ आता है कि नहीं आता। पैसा कहाँ गया वो बाद में बात करेंगे। पैसा कहाँ गया? आपका टैक्सेस ज्यादा लगा, 20% का टैक्स 27% हो गया, आपका मार्जिन 11% से गिर के 9% हो गया, ठीक है। और बेसिकली आपका 70 करोड़ का जो अदर इनकम है 136 हो गया। तो बेसिकली योर बिजनेस इज नॉट डूइंग एनी वर्क, इट इज लूजिंग मार्जिन्स, इट इज पेइंग मोर टैक्सेस बिकॉज ऑफ दिस अदर इनकम। तो दीज आर द थिंग्स। तो अभी पैसा कहाँ गया वो क्राइटेरिया नहीं होना चाहिए। अभी क्राइटेरिया ये होना चाहिए कि whatever investments you have made till date, or whatever investments or whatever businesses you are looking, can you identify which bucket the businesses stand in? And can you identify and rectify the errors made into your portfolio? I stand in which bucket and my X percentage of my money stands in which bucket? Then next, can you identify, suppose my 40-50% is in a fast grower and I think it is a fast grower, but have these 4-5 years elapsed? Or is the growth going to slow down, which I don't know today? Because I may be looking at the chart. Because I don't know today. Maybe the potential of the product which they are selling is reaching a size. Beyond that, it is very difficult to grow. Maybe a new technology has entered in the market. Maybe an import substitute has, an import has done something wrong. Example do? Example देता हूँ। This is a company called Issue.com. Now you see this, not Mark. Was this company growing fast at any point of time? See this. See this. The sales doubled. PAT never doubled. Again, the sales went up 50%. See what happened to the PAT. Period of fast growth, right? Stock price in this period went up like this. Again, no growth, PAT died. Can you understand period from year to year?
Yeah.
And this period then. If the numbers talk to you, if the numbers make sense to you, then I can know something what I need to go and look at in the reports, what I need to go and learn and see what is happening over here. So what was happening over here which killed the PAT? If I am going to wait till my announcement of the numbers, stock price would have already been died down. And whatever little returns I would be making would have already been gone in the dust. So I need to be smart and work my way before. See, this was the thing. From this 50-60 bucks, it came down to 29 bucks, which is a good drop of 50%. And this was the reason. You know what the reason was?
Expensive increase.
No. What the reason was for this company? This is into MDF and plywood, which is a very commoditized product. You can see the nature of the margins. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Margins are not sustainable at all. So what happened after COVID? Your shipping cost went high in this period, in 21, 22, when the second wave or the third wave, जो भी चल रहा था COVID का, the shipping cost went high, right? The shipping cost, which was around $1,200 per barrel or something of जो भी उसका price था, went up 6 times. So it became very difficult for the Chinese player, for the US player, for the Indonesian and the Malaysian and all these players to dump wood NDF into India. So what started happening, all the local players, the MDF players, they started making astronomical profits. You see this? 10% margins, 12% margins, straight away margins 18%. The margins went up. Why did the margins went up? Because my shipping cost went down. Shipping cost went up. So the dumping which was happening from my foreign players reduced. And this significance, we can even go and read in these transcripts. Every time the analyst or the investor was asking the management, they were saying the shipping cost is down and the dumping is down. We may not be, they don't earn more in exports, they earn more in local sales because it's a heavy commodity. And when they export, they have to pay the shipping charges, which is a dump on their VAT. Then what happened? The Baltic Dry Index, which tracks the shipping cost all over the world, started falling. The $6,500, $6,000 of the shipping cost came down to $1,500. So they were barely able to manage their sales. This is a managed sale. But their profits went down. So that means if you are selling 10 units over here and you're making 838 crores of sales, you have to probably sell 16 or 18 units over here and still land up to the same sales. Now you see their margins are again going down, reverting back to the mean. So are these 18% margins sustainable? Which is something what we spoke. They speak no. Are the margins on the lower end sustainable? No. You have to keep dancing in and out, in and out, in and out. So what was the people were looking at this very big company raising capital, doing this, doing that, but this company had a problem, which was shipping cost, right?
Right.
So now they raised money and they paid off their loans. They raised money and they paid off their loans. Why did they do this? Just to save on the interest cost. Now there are other problems also, which I don't want to discuss right now because we'll get confused. There are other problems also in this business. So these are examples. So if you think I am a smart kid on the block, I am in a fast grower, the top line is growing, the bottom line is growing. Okay. These numbers have elapsed. What is going to happen tomorrow? What is going to happen next? What is going to happen? Their products are going to work or no? Something like a quick heal technologies. This is quick heal technologies are antivirus software, right? They are a very fast grower, debt-free company, no debt, technology company. See, fast grows, but the stock never creates value. Why it never creates value? Because see the cyclicality, 42, 31, 1. You can't predict. Why it never creates value? Because earlier we used to buy CD-ROMs and put those CD-ROMs in our computers to install the antivirus software. Now we don't need CD-ROMs. We just need to download a file from the internet. And foreign competition, Kaspersky and Chinese antivirus players and many other antivirus players, they can just compete on the price and get their software installed in users all over the world. So the Indian player, which is Quick Heal, has to face stiff competition from the foreign players because internet does not see boundaries. You can download a file from US servers or US antivirus within seconds. That is why you see this 87p bolo kuch bolo. How much value has this company created? यहाँ पर आपको अभी चल रहा है 2-3 times 4 times अभी हुआ है, but in the last say 7-8 years, what has it done? Nothing. And why this thing is going around? Because now look at this image carefully. This image carefully. Again drawing. Think. Do I need to buy here, or do I need to try and buy here? Which area is a better time to buy? or better area huh? On the ceiling or on the trough. So when you are at the ceiling, definitely your charts are giving you a breakout. But when you're on the trough, your charts are languishing, and nobody wants to look at those charts. People call it sector rotation, which is utter stupidity. If I buy it at the trough, my trough was something here, which is Q4 of FY23, and now FY24 the margins again expanded. So why did the margins fall from 30-40% back down to 1%? What did happen in FY23-24? Sales also went down. Something wrong happened over here. What is that something wrong happened over here? I can take benefit of this. So if my March numbers are somewhere, say this is September, October, March numbers are somewhere around here. Okay? Make sense to buy the breakouts or to look at ignored things. Again, coming back to this, 5 buckets, 5 types of businesses, relation to GDP. We are talking about top line growth and a bottom line growth, right? Now, a fast grower, suppose the trend of 5 years is like this. It will not go like this. It will go like this, like this, like this. ऐसा कुछ भी हो जाएगा, ऐसा आगे पीछे कुछ भी होगा. What me, the super smart technical guy, wants to do is, I want to buy here. Sorry. I want to buy here. Then what I want to do is, I want to buy here. ठीक है, यही सिखाया जाता है मेरे को. But the real money is made when I buy here. I'll give you a good example. Something I did on my own regarding a fast grower business, and ठीक है, I sold out too soon. सब कुछ तो नहीं मिलता. I'll give you a very good example. Forget the tools and indicators and all these things. This is BSC. Okay? Forget all this. Do you see the prices going down here? And if I have a trend line like this, all my supports have been broken in this area. Agreed? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Try and resemble the same thing which what we just discussed here. I was lucky to buy BSC at $450. Nobody wanted to buy, but I sold at $1,300, $1,400. Now it's around $4,000. I can't sit and cry because I found other opportunities. But why did I buy over here? Was definitely not because of charts. Was definitely not because of charts. Something what I'm telling you over here. Now there is a book by Peter Lynch, One Up on Wall Street. Very basic book. This book will talk to you about these 5 buckets and how do you structure yourself in these 5 buckets and how do you see what is going to happen. If you really want to trade, if you really want to do a trading and you don't want to study and you don't want to do long-term investing, something of that sort, you will have to be in this bucket. If you really are, say, my age is say 60 years, 70 years, and I want a safe compounding bet, you should be into this bucket. If you want to trade and if you want to time the market, you can be in this bucket. And these are just play areas. Because they can work also, they can't work also. आप special situation investing बोलो, momentum बोलो, terminal value investing बोलो, ग्रोथ इन्वेस्टिंग बोलो, वैल्यू इन्वेस्टिंग बोलो, सारी की सारी चीजें इन 5 बकेट्स में जाके खत्म हो जाती है. Now try and get a sense of where I stand today with whatever investment I have done. And nobody is going to give you this on a platter. So ideally I am saying you should have 5 compartments in your mind. It is a mind game. Stock market is nothing more than that. The fear and the greed is just our emotions. Till the time my company can keep growing, I am staying invested. No matter the stock price may go up, down, up, down, up, down, not a problem. Till the time my business is intact and I know the reason why my business is intact and what is the risk which can destroy the reason why my business is intact, I am staying put. For example, I gave you a reason in Rushil, the shipping cost, the dumping from foreign players. Now, if Rushil being an MDF player and a plywood player, so that definitely means all the other MDF players and plywood players would be affected by the dumping from foreign players, which did happen. This did happen to everyone. Green ply, green panel, जो भी आप नाम आपको पसंद आ रहा है वो देख लो. Green panel is the leader of the industry. Leader of the industry. See, collapsed. Dumping started. And how do you see these things? Because there is a data, commodity data, petroleum data, steel data, shipping cost data. Everything is available to you on a resource on internet. I might not be looking at the stock price. Nobody can say I'll sell over here. ठीक है, कोई बोलता है तो वो भगवान है भाई. Nobody can say I can sell over here. But did these stock prices come back? Look at the numbers. Now see, यहाँ तो चलो जीरो था. See here, till here, was the company a fast grower? Look at the top line and look at the bottom line. Was the company a fast grower?
12 करोड़ का बेट नहीं.
Fast grower.
Fast grower. Now, is the company a fast grower anymore?
No.
No.
Rather, it is degrowing. It is going down. And when the business is going down, or me, the super smart analyst, says, wow, there is a breakout on the chart, which is here. See, there is a breakout on the chart. And you see, volumes are also picking up. So, मेरे से बड़ा कोई बेवकूफ और गधा होगा कि नहीं होगा? And this is what we all do without even glancing. I'm just looking at the numbers on screen, which is free, without even glancing. And don't be surprised, here my taxes are 27% and here my taxes are just 22%. So मेरा 257 crore का profit, which hardly grew from 22 to 23, 240 का is hardly anything, is down, and still I'm paying less amount of taxes. Now, what is the reason for this being down? 3% cost is gone in raw material. So my fluctuating of raw material cost affects me. So if I look at the material cost, which was 44-45%, which is the bare minimum. So when I get on to a 41% material cost, is this sustainable? Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. But yet I can ask 2 questions. Why 2 questions? The first question is, my selling price per unit might have gone up. So my this sales base might have gone up. The cost might be the same. If I divide it by a higher base, the percentage ratio might come down. And the second question is, क्या सच में मेरी मटेरियल की कॉस्ट गिर गई है? अगर सच में मेरी मटेरियल की कॉस्ट गिर गई है, then that is cyclical, then that will revert to the mean, then that will come back. So the this thing, and this is the median line. So then that will come back to the median line. लेकिन अगर मेरी मटेरियल की कॉस्ट नहीं गिरी है, मेरे मटेरियल की कॉस्ट उतनी ही है, and I am able to increase the sales price per unit, then wow. But my question to you is, अभी जो भी मैंने बोला, क्या आपको ये सब चीजें चार्ट में पता चलेंगी? नहीं. क्या आपको ये सब चीजें प्राइस में पता चलेंगी, या प्राइस एक्शन, या वॉल्यूम, या इंडिकेटर में पता चलेंगी? नहीं. So what is more important, running behind the price or running behind the business?
Yes.
Just a simple example of how you should structure yourself. Nobody is going to come and tell you कि यार ये वाला industry. Now these can be different industries, these can be different sectors, these can be different market caps. Not a problem. Nobody is going to come and tell you कि ये मत लो और वो ले लो. अगर कोई आपको ऐसा कह रहा है तो वो आपका उल्लू बना रहा है. Follow your own self. And if you are running behind the price, which most of us do, because we are techno funda people, the real word is tech and no funda. Why? Because might be possible these companies where we are running behind the price might be cyclical and they might not sustain. And when are we running behind the price? When we are trying to buy the company at the ceiling, not the trough. So our margin of safety is nothing. See, I told you in the very first statement before starting this session, if you are a momentum investor, this place is not for you. If you really want to become a value investor and generate wealth, probably this place for you. If you want to make returns, this place is not for you. Any questions till now?
No.
सर जो रुशिल डेकोर का एग्जांपल दिया आपने, उसमें सर जब ये पीक मार्जिन होता है, जब नॉर्मली जो हम ट्रैप होते हैं कि सब अच्छा चल रहा है, मैंने बिजनेस भी टर्फ पे लिया था और अच्छा चल रहा है, एंड फाइनली वो बहुत पीक मार्जिन बनाने लग जाता है, एंड वी स्टे एंजॉइंग कि क्वार्टरली रिजल्ट देखे कि मार्जिन भी अच्छे आ रहे हैं, सब कुछ अच्छा हो रहा है, एंड ऑल ऑफ अ सडन दिस सिचुएशन गेट चेंज. तब तक वो हम उस सिचुएशन में आ जाते हैं कि या तो ड्रॉ डाउन हो जाते हैं हमारे अच्छे खासे, और हम वहाँ स्टकअप हो जाते हैं, एंड फिर हम एक लॉन्ग टर्म फोर्स वैल्यू इन्वेस्टर बन जाते हैं कुछ स्टॉक्स में. वो सिचुएशन से कैसे ओवरकम आया जाए सर, ऐसी सिचुएशन जो आपने बताया?
पढ़ना पड़ेगा ना सर, क्योंकि क्या है, क्योंकि अगर आप चार्ट में और ट्रेडिंग में टाइम खराब करोगे तो आप पढ़ोगे कैसे? मैंने आपको बोला कि रूसिया के अंदर फॉरेन प्लेयर्स का डंपिंग आ रहा था. फॉरेन प्लेयर का डंपिंग किस चीज से इफेक्ट हो रहा था? शिपिंग कॉस्ट है. अगर शिपिंग कॉस्ट बढ़ जाएगा तो फॉरेन प्लेयर्स का डंपिंग नहीं आएगा, तो रूशियल, ग्रीन पैनल, ग्रीन लैम्प, सेंचुरी टेक्सटाइल, जो भी इंडस्ट्री है, ये लोग वापस अच्छे हो जाएंगे. That also means they will also.
मैनेजमेंट तो चलिए उस टाइम पे बताए,
क्यों नहीं बताता? बिल्कुल बताता. अगर मैंने एक इंडस्ट्री के 5 कंपनीज या 6 कंपनीज 5 साल के या 10 साल के या 15 साल के सारे पढ़े, then I know what is happening. Similarly, if you ask me Avanti Feeds has got 3 main raw materials. आप कुछ भी जाके पढ़ लो, कुछ भी कर लो, जो इनका मेन श्रिम्प एक्सपोर्ट्स का बिजनेस है, जिसमें वो माल लेते हैं और बेच देते हैं, उसका 3 रॉ मटेरियल्स है. वन इज व्हीट फ्लावर, वन इज रिफाइंड सोया एंड वन इज फिश ऑयल. तीनों का प्राइस बढ़ जाता है, अवंती की हालत खराब हो जाती है. तीनों का प्राइस 2, 4, 6 महीने के लिए अगर सिक्लिकल प्राइस, कमोडिटाइज प्राइस गिर गया, अवंती को मजा आ जाता है. अब आप बोलो कि हमको कैसे पता चले कि इनका प्राइस ऊपर जा रहा है या नीचे जा रहा है? इट इज योर ओन हार्ड अर्न मनी. There are ways to find it. You can keep a track of this. And when do we buy? When the margins are at the ceiling of the trough. वो आपको भी समझ आ गया. But cyclicals need a timing element. कहाँ मुझे जाना है? ऐसा नहीं कि मैंने लिया और मेरे लेते ही ये बॉटम बन गया. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं. It can still go down. और मैंने बेचा और मेरे बेचते ही ये टॉप बन के ना, it can still go up. After I buy, it can go down. After I sell, it can go up. I don't know. In the fast growing bucket, I've say 4-5 years, even if I'm able to catch 1 or 2 years in the 5-7 years of a fast growth bucket, if it sustains for 5-7 years, and I got a good my portfolio allocation to this thing, my job is done. I don't need to trade, and I don't need to muddle my head onto every different price moves 24/7. I'll give you my example. I was able to buy a company at say 60-70 bucks, and with a good amount of portfolio allocation, today it's more than $1,000. It's a fast grower. But from 70 to 1,000, it has gone up by 10-12 times. It was not a linear move. There were times when it fell down by 40-50%, but the thesis and the story was intact. So I was staying put. So at times I was looking foolish because अरे यार ऊपर बेच देता, profit lock कर लेता, and my few of my colleagues told me you are stupid, you are nuts. You should have sold and you should have used that capital to some other position, and by the time this business recovers, then you can again get that capital to this business and do the wonderful things. Sorry, I'm not so smart. And what is the harm in saying openly, I'm not so smart. I like to stay put. The investments have worked out beautifully. If you ask me about Wari, you will laugh about it. Today, Wari's unlisted price is around 2,600 rupees. 26 polo or 2650 polo. My buy price is 220 rupees. कितनी बार वो अप डाउन आईपीओ नहीं आ रहा, ये हो गया वो हो गया, इधर भागो उधर भागो, बैन कर दिया एमसीए ने, ऐसा कर दिया वैसा कर दिया. नेवर सोल्ड. सो फ्रॉम 200 rupees till 2600 rupees कितना टाइम्स हो गया? 10 टाइम्स हो गया, 11 टाइम्स हो गया. दैट इज हाउ वेल्थ जनरेशन हैपेंस. अभी 11 टाइम्स के लिए मेरे को ये रिटर्न जनरेट करने के लिए पता नहीं कितने हजारों लाखों ट्रेड करने पड़ते हैं, और कितनी शुगर बीपी बढ़ जाती. फिर रविंदर सर के पास और अमिताभ सर के पास शुगर बीपी का इलाज कराने आता, बिकॉज बोथ आर क्वालिफाइड डॉक्टर्स. सिंपल. नाउ माय थिंकिंग इज यार आईपीओ आने वाला है, मे बी इन नेक्स्ट 1 or 2 months आईपीओ आ जाएगा ना. एवरी टॉम डिक एंड हैरी वांट्स टू जंप इनटू इट. Solar is the big theme and biggest company in India, and there's so much of infrastructure. Or till when can it last? Because in the last 2 years, when the stock price has gone up, say 10-12 times, their numbers have also increased at an astronomical pace. We're talking about 17%, 20%, 25% growth, but their growth has been more beyond 100%. कब तक 100% सस्टेन कर पाएगा? कभी ना कभी तो नंबर इतना बड़ा हो जाएगा कि उसके आगे का परसेंटेज नंबर गिरेगा ही गिरेगा. तो बिगर बेस. So is it time to get out? Yes, definitely. It might be a good time to get out, because every Technofonda buyer wants to apply for the IPO, and I can even sell in OFS and get out. The major part is probably done. बाकी 5-25% का एक दूसरे का सर फोड़ो ना, क्या फर्क पड़ना. Getting it?
Right, sir. This there is a question कि सर जो आपने पॉइंट बोला है ना अभी, अब वारी बीच में कई बार ऐसा सिनेरियो भी आया होगा जब आपको लगा होगा कि ओवर वैल्यूड हो गया, एंड इट इज लाइक पीकिंग लाइक एनीथिंग.
It was always overvalued. It was never undervalued. It was always overvalued. Why do we see valuation and how do we sell this valuation is on the numbers which are already reported. मैं बार बार अपने सब स्टूडेंट्स को एक ही चीज बोलता हूँ कि बॉस, आप गाड़ी चलाते हो, सामने वाले शीशे में देख के गाड़ी चलाते हो, या जो बैक करते हैं उसमें शीशे में देख के गाड़ी चलाते हो?
सामने वाले पे चलाते हो.
हाँ, it was always overvalued. Never it was undervalued. अगर मैं सामने वाले शीशे में देख के गाड़ी चला रहा हूँ, तो my valuation metric or my method I try to value business should be forward looking, not backward looking. If I am looking on the reported numbers which everybody knows, तो फिर मेरे में और उनमें फर्क क्या रहेगा? I have to do something else. I have to do something smart to sustain and to probably try and create some wealth. And हाँ, अगर मुझे
सर कई बार
जल्दी
फॉरवर्ड अर्निंग बट सर कई बार
नहीं,
फॉरवर्ड अर्निंग में बेक्ड इन हो जाती है ना, तो उसको कैसे कंट्रोल करें?
फॉरवर्ड अर्निंग एक आपको एक मिथ है फॉरवर्ड अर्निंग का, वो एक चीज, एक ही चीज है, बहुत सारे अलग अलग तरीके होते हैं सर, दैट इज जस्ट वन थिंग. एंड व्हेन टू यूज फॉरवर्ड अर्निंग्स एंड व्हेन नॉट टू यूज फॉरवर्ड अर्निंग, वो भी तो एक चीज है, दैट वी डोंट सी कि when to use forward earnings and when not to. It is not that I can use forward earnings in every case study. There is a difference, right?
एंड सर व्हाई यू लाइक सोल्ड द बीएससी ऑन द टाइम, मतलब आपका क्या रहा था? ठीक है, वो ऊपर चला गया प्राइस, दैट इज अ डिफरेंट थिंग.
Sir, I don't even look at charts because I found another good opportunity at that time. So I tried and invested my capital into that business. That business has grown more than Nifty, Nifty BSC.
बीएससी.
So why the hitch of crying? अरे यार मैंने BSC और ऊपर चला गया और ये सब चीजें. Why the pain? No pain.
Okay, I thought because of the some valuation perspective आपको वो महंगा लगा या उस टाइम पे, I
Yes, sir.
thought that way.
Because see, never try to sell at high valuations. Try to sell at exaggerated valuation.
असल मुझे तो अभी भी एक्सैजरेट लग रहा है अब जो उसमें हो रहा है.
तो बेच दो, अभी तो हो गया exaggerated BSC. There is an event, NSE का IPO आएगा, उसकी वजह से ये होगा. There is an event, so people try to correlate. And I need to understand that event, and if I can understand that event, I can stay put. If I don't understand the event, and I have another opportunity, I try to get out.
Right, sir.
So for now, since you have got the 5 buckets of different investments and different section of portfolio, try and put your portfolio or whatever stock you have into these buckets. Try and make a note, get a sense of where you stand and what percentage of your allocation is to which bucket. And see, nothing remains static. It is a dynamic world. Things keep changing. तो ये कहाँ से कहाँ चेंज होगा, क्या चीज होगी, मेरा इन्वेस्टमेंट या जो जिस बकेट में मैं हूँ वो सस्टेन करेगा कि नहीं करेगा, या वो चेंज हो जाएगा, उसका भी आपको एक सेंस लेना पड़ेगा. एंड वन मोर थिंग, अभी तक तो मैंने जो आपको वो मूवी एंड वो सब किया था, आई हैड गिवन सम क्लास नोट्स एंड सम इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग्स, so where you could download, but since this is session 1, now I'll be blocking the downloads from here, which is but obvious. Don't feel bad about it. Secondly, Bayes theorem मैंने आपको इसलिए दिया था कि Bayes theorem is basically, forget the calculations, as and when you get more and more information about your investment or your decision, you revisit your thesis and change your thesis and check your thesis. Is my thesis still valid? Has the bucket changed? Or is my investment moved out from the fast grower to the slow grower, or slow grower to the fast grower? Companies keep on doing these kind of things to change from one bucket to another bucket, right? Any more questions?
So in one of the notes, sir, while calculating incremental returns on capital, सर उसमें सर जो रीइन्वेस्टमेंट रेट का, सर जैसे कि वॉलमार्ट का एक एग्जांपल है कि रेट का. हाँ सर.
Can we focus on what we are discussing right now? जो आपका क्वेश्चन है, जब वो टॉपिक आएगा तो वो बात कर लेंगे, बिकॉज एवरीबडी इज वांटिंग अ रीकैप. अगर मैं सब कुछ मिक्स करूंगा तो आई कैन गो एंडलेस. यहाँ प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, आई कैन गो एंडलेस. फिर आप लोग बोलोगे यार अब क्या हुआ, फिर सारा कंफ्यूजन हो गया. वी आर ओनली हियर फॉर 10 सेशंस, जस्ट अ क्विक रीकैप. हाउ डू यू स्ट्रक्चर योरसेल्फ, व्हाट डू यू डू. ये जो आप ROIC जो बात कर रहे हैं, वील डिस्कस दिस इन सेशन 2.
फाइन सर, फाइन सर. सर आई मिस द क्लास सर, इनिशियल क्लास इसकी रिकॉर्डिंग होगी सर आज की? क्या
हाँ
कहते हैं?
ये
आई मिस
रिकॉर्ड, हाँ ये रिकॉर्डेड है, आई जस्ट पोस्ट द रिकॉर्डिंग.
फाइन सर.
Any questions relating to today's discussion? Please ask.
बेसिकली जब आप इस तरीके से
एक एक करके दो. तिलोक जी पहले आप.
हम
आवाज क्रैक हो रही है.
आवाज आ रही
रुक के आ रही है, मतलब अभी आ रही है.
हेलो, मैं बात पूछता हूँ सर.
चलो आप एग्जिट करके दोबारा कनेक्ट करेंगे, आवाज क्लियर हो जाएगी. अभिषेक जी पूछ लो जब तक वो एग्जिट करके ज्वाइन करते हैं.
सर कोई कंपनी है, उसका कोई कैपेक्स कंप्लीट हुआ है और एक अनाउंसमेंट आता है कि उसका प्लांट ऑपरेशन स्टार्ट होने वाला है, तो ये राइट टाइम होता है क्या कि ऐड करने के लिए, या उसके लिए थोड़ा और वेट करना चाहिए?
सर स्ट्रक्चर कर सकते हैं, पूरा वन गो में मत जाओ. अगर वो प्लान चला ही नहीं, प्रॉब्लम आ गई, तो वो भी तो प्रॉब्लम्स होती हैं. ऐसा कुछ कंपनीज में हुआ था. अगर आपको लग रहा है कि वो प्लान स्टार्ट होने वाला है और कैपेक्स कंप्लीट हो गया, ट्रायल रन हो गया, कमर्शलाइजेशन होने वाला है, थोड़ा बहुत ऐड कर सकते हो. थोड़ा बहुत नंबर्स देखने के बाद ऐड कर लो, क्योंकि अंदाजा लगाने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. नंबर आने के बाद भी आपको सफिशिएंट टाइम मिलेगा उसको ऐड करने के लिए, अगर आप उसको ट्रैक में रखें तो.
यस.
ठीक है सर. और कोई क्वेश्चन है? हाँ तिलोक जी पूछो.
हाँ सर, अभी ठीक है आवाज सर?
हाँ क्लियर सर, क्लियर है.
मेरा ये क्वेश्चन था सर, जब हम स्टॉक अपॉर्चुनिटीज देखते हैं या कुछ भी ऐसा सोचते हैं, वी कांट सी, मतलब मेरा ये मानना है सर, जब हम अपॉर्चुनिटी देख रहे हैं उस टाइम पे हम ऐसा देख सकते हैं क्या कि फास्ट ग्रोवर है या स्लो ग्रोवर है? बिकॉज वी सी कि टू ग्रैब द अपॉर्चुनिटी रादर देन लुकिंग दीज बकेट्स. तो आप हाउ यू
Excellent question, sir. Excellent question. This is also a part of our discussion, which we will discuss in the subsequent sessions. You have an excellent question. Please write down this question, and probably we'll address this in session 3 or somewhere.
डन सर?
How? Because नंबर आने के बाद बताना बहुत इजी है कि वो फास्ट ग्रोवर है या स्लो ग्रोवर, लेकिन वो नंबर आने से पहले कैसे पता चले, वही तो सवाल है. अगर मुझे नंबर आने से पहले और 3-4 साल में अच्छा करेगा, अच्छा ग्रो करेगा, अगर उसका मुझे थोड़ा सा एक आइडिया पहले पता चल जाए, तभी तो आई माइट बी इन अ बेटर पोजीशन देन द रेस्ट ऑफ द अदर्स.
एंड मैं सर अपने आप को डिसिप्लिन भी कैसे रखूं? इफ आई एम लुकिंग दी अपॉर्चुनिटी यहाँ आ रही है, तो मैं अपने आप को कंट्रोल कैसे करूं बिहेवियरली कि मैं ना जाऊं उस बकेट में इतना ज्यादा, या कंट्रोल करूं? वो भी पॉइंट्स है उसमें.
वो तो आपको अपना एक मैनुअल बनाना पड़ेगा, आपको लिखना पड़ेगा, एंड यू हैव टू डू इट ऑन योर ओन. अभी हमारे पास कोई टीचर तो है नहीं जो डंडा लेके मेरे को बैठ के पढ़ा रही कि भाई ऐसा पढ़ो, ऐसा पढ़ो, ऐसा पढ़ो. ऐसा तो कुछ है नहीं. वो तो आपको अपने नोट्स खुद बना के अपने नोट्स को बार बार रिविजिट करना पड़ेगा. एंड दिस विल ओनली हैपन व्हेन यू स्टॉप लुकिंग एट चार्ट्स एंड स्टॉप वेस्टिंग योर टाइम.
राइट.
एनी अदर क्वेश्चंस प्लीज?
सर इसमें जो आपने सब प्रोसेस बताया अभी जितना भी प्राइमर में, तो उसमें हमने लेट्स से वी एंटर्ड अ कंपनी, ऑब्वियसली यू सेड कि उसमें फ्रेंजी हो जाता है एंड आई वेंट आउट एंड देयर वाज बेटर अपॉर्चुनिटी. सो I think the most difficult part of the whole equation is when to get out. So many times, when things go better, let's say, I mean, for worry for that purpose, we are saying 100%, maybe it grows for another 2 years, 3 years, and then comes down or whatever. So what would be the appropriate time when we decide to find we're getting out of this? Other than getting better opportunity.
Sir, please note this question. We'll again take this question in session 3.
Right.
तो तिलोक जी आपका भी क्वेश्चन प्लीज नोट करके या तो जनरल चैट में लिख दीजिए, मेरे को टैग करके इसी टेलीग्राम ग्रुप में. अमिताभ सर आप भी लिख दीजिए. विल एड्रेस दिस क्वेश्चन इन सेशन 3. एंड इफ आई फॉरगेट, प्लीज डू रिमाइंड टू एड्रेस दिस क्वेश्चन. बोथ आर गुड क्वेश्चंस.
ठीक है.
ठीक है. विवेक जी कुछ बोलना चाह रहे हो? विवेक जी आप कुछ बोलना चाह रहे हैं?
सर मेरा एक और क्वेश्चन था.
हाँ पूछिए सर.
हमने 5 सेक्टर इसमें बनाए हैं: फास्ट ग्रोअर्स, स्लो ग्रोअर्स, सिक्लिकल्स, एसेट प्लेयर्स एंड टर्न अराउंड. तो इसमें जो एसेट प्लेयर्स हैं ऑब्वियसली उसका बहुत कम ग्रोथ है, और टर्न अराउंड्स का तो चलो आई मीन दैट इज अ सेपरेट थिंग, बट देन इफ वी कैन लोकेट फास्ट ग्रोअर्स, why should we go in any other basket for that purpose? Because here probably you know we can.
थोड़ा सा डाइवर्सिफाई होना होता है, क्योंकि सर एसेट बेस्ड ऑन टर्न अराउंड में जब हमारे को कोई अच्छी चीज मिलती है ना, वो इतनी फास्ट एस्केलेट करती है, आप फास्ट ग्रोथ भूल जाओगे, बट वो छोटे पीरियड के लिए होती है, मे बी 2 months 4 months 6 months,
जैसे
because
रिलायंस में आपने डाला है,
it might become say 2 3 4 5 10 in a matter of 6 months. तो आप
Okay.
वो इतना जल्दी वो एस्केलेट करता है, तो बोलता है कि यार मैं फास्ट ग्रोथ में क्यों जाऊं, ऐसे काम में क्यों ना करूं. पीपल आर देयर हु विल स्ट्रक्चर द फुल बकेट इन एन एसेट प्लेयर और स्ट्रक्चर द फुल बकेट इन अ टर्न अराउंड. मतलब फुल बकेट से मतलब फुल पोर्टफोलियो. अच्छी चीजें सब जगह मिलती हैं, खराब चीजें भी सब जगह मिलती हैं. वी हैव टू नो द ट्रिक्स ऑफ द ट्रेड टू गेट आवर वर्क डन.
राइट. जैसे लेटेस्ट रिलायंस इंफ्रा का भी आप डाल रहे थे उसमें आप.
रिलायंस इंफ्रा का सर स्टोरी ये है कि उन्होंने उनको वो मिल गया है वन टाइम सेटलमेंट विद द banks, and they got a fundraise. So once you do the fundraise and once you get the one time settlement with the banks, तो आपका fundraise छोटे मार्केट कैप पर तो होगा नहीं. अभी 40% स्टॉक बढ़ा दिया है तो 12,000 करोड़ मार्केट कैप कर दिया. So they need to pick 3,000 crores. To pick 3,000 crores at say 10,000 or 12,000, 25% मार्केट कैप आपको डाइल्यूट करनी पड़ेगी. But similarly, if you can take the market cap to say 20,000 crores, you'll have to dilute a lesser percentage of your market cap to the investors to pick up the same money. So these are no-brainers, and no-brainers probably comes with experience and probably comes with a hell lot of reading. So no-brainers can come from anywhere. मैंने वो बुक भी शेयर करी है, PDF वन अपन वॉल स्ट्रीट बाय पीटर लिंच. Read at your own pace. There is no need to speed up. There is no requirement to do any presentation to anybody. It is your own time. Read at your own pace. For now, before the next session, what you can do is you can try and evaluate a few examples. You can try and see why did the company was in a fast grower, why did it went to a slow grower. You can try and evaluate your own portfolios. You can try and evaluate maybe positions which you held out into the past and you have sold. And probably you would have made money in that or lost money in that. ये सारी एक्सरसाइज हम खुद अपने आसपास जो हमारी कंपनीज हमारे ध्यान में है जो है उसमें करेंगे. मोर ऑफ द एग्जांपल्स यू डू, द मोर ऑफ नॉलेज यू गेन.
राइट
सर. अभी आवाज आ रहा है सर?
हाँ आ रहा है सर, बोलिए.
हाँ सर, एक्चुअली हम लोग अभी बिगिन कर रहे हैं ना सर. सर आपका एक वीडियो में देखा था पहले, जो आप शेयर किया था कुछ जर्नलिंग के लिए, कुछ एआई रिलेटेड नोट्स, कैसे अभी बहुत सारा बिजनेस पढ़ रहा था उसको थोड़ा क्या बोलते हैं अरेंज करने के लिए.
हाँ बोलो सर.
हाँ सर, आपका एक वीडियो पहले आप शेयर किया था, आई थिंक बैच 4 में कोई 2 बंदे लोग बात कर रहा था ऐसे कुछ, आई थिंक एआई रिलेटेड कुछ वेबसाइट है
बैच 4 में.
हाँ सर
मैंने शेयर किया था.
हाँ सर, इन वीडियो सेशन में बाद में देख रहा था नहीं मिल रहा था.
पता नहीं सर, वो तो वहाँ तो हजारों चीजें, मेरे को ही नहीं पता क्या क्या शेयर किया हुआ मैंने.
ओके सर.
और बैच 4 में कोई कुछ करता भी है? मुझे तो लगता है सब सोते रहते हैं वहां पर.
नहीं सर, अभी हम लोग बुक्स में लिखता है ना सर, बाद में भूल जाता है, इधर उधर हो जाता है, तो एक बाद में भी रिविजिट करने के लिए एक बिजनेस रीड करेगा, आफ्टर 1 or 2 months भूल जाता है सब कुछ.
मेरे को तो सुनीता मैम बोली कि सर वो करंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज का प्लीज उसमें अपडेट करो, हमको उसमें अच्छा सीखने को मिलता है. तो मैम को मैं बोलूंगा मैम पहले सीख तो लो, अपॉर्चुनिटी में इन्वेस्ट करके अभी से पैसे कमाने की सोच रहे हैं, पहले खुद को वेल वर्स तो कर लो. चलो
बैच 4 के आपके सर, जैसे कि अब आई वाज गोइंग थ्रू जो आरओआईसी के नोट्स हैं सर, आपने सब चीज का अलग अलग वीडियो बना के उसमें सर एक्सप्लेन करा हुआ है. द प्रॉब्लम इज सर विद द टाइम वी कीप ऑन फॉरगेटिंग सर ऑल दोस कांसेप्ट्स, भूलते जाते हैं सर, बस प्रॉब्लम है.
Again, I would like to articulate my total emphasis for batch 4 was to choose and select a core team to work. See, anybody can complement anybody. It is markets are open, they are versatile. My core focus was to get a core team and to work with them.
Yes,
जो मिलता नहीं मेरे को, तो मैंने छोड़
Yes,
दिया है
sir.
वो. I'm on my own. आप लोगों को बस एक रिकैप चाहिए, तो that's why I'm trying to giving you a 5-10 session recap, जिससे आपको कुछ फायदा मिल जाए. बाकी frankly speaking, I've stopped trusting anybody for anything.
Yes, sir.
चलो, I'll just share the recording. Do a good hell lot of examples before we meet for session number 2.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.